Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Wherever you're tuning in from, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Both. We're going to get started with the live stream here momentarily. We'll give it another minute or so for people to join us. See, we have some people joining. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And smash like, help support me in the channel. We're going to get started here in about 20 seconds. All right, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you're tuning in from. And wherever you are tuning in from, let us know in the live chat. Going to get started with the live stream today. Going to jump into some ticker requests. If anybody does have any requests, please let me know. Happy hump day. It's Wednesday, March 22nd. And like I said, going to go over a market update. If anybody does have any ticker requests, just let me know in the live chat. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, help support me in the channel. And if you can tick the bell, subscribe, all that stuff, you'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I go live such as this. But jumping into the video today, again, if anybody does have any ticker requests, make sure to place them in the live chat and let me know the exchange as well. And we'll jump into those at the end after a quick market update. But it was an eventful day. We had the Fed interest rate decision today. So we'll discuss that, my thoughts and opinions on that. It was pretty much exactly what we expected, 25 basis points. And the charts were also telling us that we could potentially see that happen as well. But I see we have quite a few people joining us, so welcome to the live stream. Make sure to smash like, and we'll get started. Coming in from Texas, nice. Welcome from Texas. Good afternoon. So jumping into the market update, one thing before, not that I need to remind anybody, I think everybody's probably got the reminder on already, but in just 15 hours, going to be interviewing, pretty excited for this one, going to be interviewing the president and CEO of Hexacorp, Charlie Bowman, along with Julius Evansitz I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name, and he is the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. So looking forward to this. I've already submitted the questions to them, and they didn't have any issues with them. There was quite a few. I had almost 120 questions, and I had to work really, really hard to get that down, but I got it from, I think, like 120 questions down to like 40 questions. So like I said, worked really hard on that. Thank you everyone who contributed for all your questions. I had quite a bit of questions myself that I've been drafting. The Power Group private community as well had quite a few questions. So unfortunately, I would have loved to ask all the questions, but we have to respect their time as well. But I know that even 40 is a lot of questions. I'm just trying to keep it down to around an hour, but I think that they owe it to us as myself as a retail investor, and I'm pretty sure you could all agree that they owe us at least an hour of their time, maybe even a little bit longer, and definitely owe us some answers, because there's definitely a lot more questions than answers at the moment. So looking forward to this. Make sure to hit the reminder, notify me, the bell, so you'll be notified whenever we go live. But essentially, it's going to be a live stream like I've done in the past. You'll be able to tune into it live, and you'll be able to chat in the live chat and ask any questions, show your support, that type of thing. As I mentioned, we did have the Fed interest rate decision today. All eyes were on that today, and it came in as expected. We were forecasting a 25 basis point rate hike, and that's exactly what we got. Again, the charts were showing that we could potentially see some consolidation, and that was more than likely going to result in a 25 basis point rate hike. A 50 would have tanked the market a lot, but the fact that the chart S&P 500 was still in a daily uptrend, the most likely scenario was a 25 basis point rate hike, right? If they would have paused, that obviously would have sent market soaring. But this is exactly what the consensus was, what I was expecting. And they said that they could potentially raise one more time before the end of the year, maybe into the summer. We'll see. I think that they could pause potentially, and then that would send the markets into full-blown euphoria. And then I think that we're going to top sometime between now and the beginning part of summer. And then I think we're going to enter a bear market, and then we're really going to see the selling pressure pick up into the fall and then into wintertime and the beginning part of 2024. And I'll show the chart here in just a moment. But taking a look at the crypto space, crypto did sell off as a result. So obviously a lot of Bitcoin investors, crypto investors were hoping that we were going to see a pause in rate hikes because as we know, they're inversely correlated. Rate hikes are negative for crypto, right? So we want to see those rates pause in order to give crypto the runway to see some sustained gains. But like I said, we were due for daily consolidation. We only consolidated on the daily time frame once on Bitcoin after a 48% move. So this is the second time in 12 days that we've consolidated on the daily time frame. So again, what does consolidation mean? Consolidation just means that we're losing the low of the previous daily candle. So that only happened once before today in the last 11 trading days. So we knew that it was due, right? So the charts were basically saying, and we were still in a daily uptrend, same with SPY, the charts were basically saying that we were anticipating daily consolidation. And that was a result of the Fed interest rate decision, right? So to be expected, but still in a daily uptrend. This is no major red flags whatsoever. We haven't even backtested EMA 12 here on Bitcoin. And on the weekly time frame, we've got a ton of room here. We're more than likely not going to start weekly consolidation again until, at the earliest, in my opinion, next week because of the size of the range on this candle. But if we take a look at the movers and shakers on the day today, we had Mara, Hut, TRX leading the decline, and Justin Sun, a new lawsuit against the SEC is filing that against Justin Sun. So the SEC continues its war on crypto and continues to go after project. Code, LBC, and Hex leading the bull list today. Tons of people speculating XRP yesterday. I know it was pretty exciting. I said, don't get too excited. They're not going to make it that easy. And then sure enough, here we are down from about 49 cents. We're now down about 15% from the high there of yesterday. But just keep in mind that so many people were like, oh, what's the reason for Bitcoin or for XRP pumping? It pumped 30% in a day. There must be some news, right? But I don't know why people have to think that, because if you know anything about charting or technical analysis, this is just what XRP does. XRP pumps 30%, 20% in a day, no problem, right? And it's just playing catch up to the rest of the market, right? So how come when Bitcoin pumped all that, that 48%, how come, people aren't just expecting alts to do the same, right? And if you take a look at Bitcoin for the last 3 weekly candles, it's up 48%. Okay, now let's look at XRP in the last 3 weekly candles. From the low there, it's only up 42%. So again, Bitcoin went up 48% in the same time period, and XRP only went up 42%. So it doesn't always have to be news driven. There's so much speculation, obviously, with the case with the SEC. But again, if you just understand charts and technical analysis, it's just playing catch up, right? And usually XRP is the last to go, and it's a laggard, right? And like I said, Bitcoin shot up 48% in the same time period. So, but the difference is with Bitcoin is it doesn't see more than like 10% in a day, right? If you take a look at these candles, that was 8.5, that was 12, yeah. So that was probably the highest one there, 10, almost 11. This one's 11%. So it doesn't really get that much more than a little over double digits. Whereas XRP in one day, it went up 32%, right? And that's just long-term resistance that was being broken and the rest of the market being bullish. And like I said, just playing catch up to the market. So let that be a lesson for next time when something pumps 30%, just zoom out, right? It's easy to get excited on the daily time frame with XRP. But again, just imagine when the Bitwise ETF adds this back, whenever they have to buy XRP again, they're probably going to buy easily a few hundred million, if not a few billion. And then what happens when it starts to get relisted on exchanges? What happens when Ripple IPOs after the lawsuit ends, right? So there's so many catalysts coming. What happens when the banks in the US start using? We know that Bank of America is a partner of Ripple, and they're just foaming at the mouth to use this thing to get regulatory clarity so that they can, quote unquote, flip the switch. So imagine what's going to happen when Warren Buffett, biggest investor in Bank of America, once they flip the switch and start using ODL. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not selling any XRP for a long time, probably not until at least new all-time highs. I'll be holding a bag for long-term forever, but I won't be selling a single XRP until we hit new all-time highs. Taking a look at SPY. So SPY did close at the low of the day today. Wouldn't be surprised if we did see further downside tomorrow, maybe even potentially a gap down. But we did have the daily higher low here at 382.25. And again, we could probably see that coming, that a 25 basis point was going to be the most likely scenario because we hadn't consolidated in almost a week and no support all the way down to 382.25. So SPY could have dropped 5% and still be in a daily uptrend, right? So we closed at the low. Wouldn't be surprised if we pulled back tomorrow, but key support is going to be 382.25. As long as that holds, we're still in a daily uptrend. And in order to be confident that the daily high or low is set and that we're done consolidating, we need to see the hourly uptrend confirmed. So we need an hourly trend change to be confident in our daily high or low. So that's what we'll be watching for into tomorrow. But like I said, wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more downside. The dollar, so the dollar broke to a daily lower low today. If we take a look at the weekly time frame, it is heading back down towards support. We could potentially head it to weekly oversold like I've been calling for a while now. And if we take a look at the monthly chart, like I've been saying, it's a perfect monthly bear flag, and the most likely scenario is a monthly lower high and lower low. So we could potentially form a lower high here, and then if we lose support, key support on the dollar now is going to be 182, so 100.82. We lose that, we're in a monthly downtrend, and we confirm the monthly bear flag, and that's going to be extremely bullish for crypto and stocks. And if we do confirm the monthly bear flag with a loss of 100.82 support, that's going to confirm the monthly bear flag. It's going to confirm a monthly downtrend. And the target for that measured move is about 93.75 there on the dollar. And that comes off the cuff of it hitting monthly overbought territory on the RSI. So this is looking really good over the next few months. And that lines up with my thesis that we could see a big rally here into the spring and maybe even beginning part of summer. We could see this IHS on SPY, this inverse head and shoulders on the monthly time frame. We're forming the monthly higher low now on the S&P 500. So it's the opposite, right? Inversely correlated. The DXY is forming a lower high and a potential monthly downtrend, and we're forming a higher low and a potential monthly uptrend on the S&P 500. And again, there is a potential here, depending on how much we consolidate, as long as we hold that 360 area, that's a potential inverse head and shoulders on the S&P 500. And if we take a look at the measured move there from the low to the high, measured move is saying we could potentially target 475, which would put us in new all-time high territory. And keep in mind that Congress still hasn't been banned yet from owning stocks. Watch that to be a potential top indicator on the market. And I do think that we're going to deviate from this .com fractal, like I've been saying for many weeks now, just because of the manipulation, the money printing. The Fed may even have to start to turn the money printer back on. And like I said, the Congress still hasn't banned themselves from owning stock yet. So I think we could see a deviation of this fractal from the .com. We've been following it to a T so far, but I do think we could deviate because of the market dynamics. Watch for Congress to be banned from owning stocks, and then a massive crash into the summer, into fall, into beginning part of 2024. If we take a look at, like I said, at the .com fractal, there's so many things lining up as confluence to the fact that this is going to potentially be another repeat of the .com days, maybe even 1929 type style, right? In 1929, the stock market dropped, I think, like 10% in a day, and then the next day it dropped, around the same, like 13%. And then over the course of a couple months, it dropped about 50% of its value. Well, look, newsflash, we've already dropped over 25% on the S&P 500 since the all-time high. So 50% of its value would bring us right down to exactly where the .com fractal is saying. I took the fractal from this bust here in the 2000s and I overlaid it here, and it's lining up exactly with that 50% threshold and a 1929 Great Depression type style crash, right? That's how and make sure you check out that video that I did, how I'm preparing for one of the biggest market crashes in history. So that will get you prepared. Markets can go up, down, or sideways. So in that video, I talk about how to prepare for up, down, or sideways and what I'm expecting. And then something to keep in mind as well, look what happened here in the .com days. The monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross occurred when we were at around $80, and then it took about 500 days to bottom and hit monthly oversold. But from the peak there of the price to the monthly oversold, it was about 800 days. So 800 days would put us exactly where the .com fractal says again. It would put us out to about March/April of 2024. So around this time next year is where we could potentially expect a bottom, but it could even be longer than that. We'll just have to keep in mind. And then it could be, 3, 5, maybe even 10 years before we hit new all-time highs. A lot of people are predicting the lost decade where we don't hit new all-time highs. Not to say that we can't have great, swing trades and upside and downside in the mix, right? There's going to be lots of great relief rallies and ways to play it on the upside, but the overall prevailing trend over the next couple of years, in my opinion, is going to be down. And then it's probably going to take, 3 to 5 years for us to get back up to all-time highs, right? Because we know Congress will be banned from owning stocks probably, right? All these whales that just made 125% on the S&P in a couple of years when we're accustomed to 12% a year, 10 years worth of gains condensed into 2 years, you have to expect downside. And then, like I said, the EMA 12 and 26 bear cross occurred on the monthly time frame, and then about 500 days after that happened. So let's say the monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross happens in May or June. let's go 500 days out from there. So that brings us to around summertime of 2024. So this may not bottom. We may not bottom until April to June 2024. And I would be more inclined to think probably after the summer, maybe into the fall in 2024 is where we bottom out. And even Elon Musk has said that this market that we're in right now resembles the 2008 financial crisis, right? A lot of this bank contagion that's going on with the banks failing in the US. I would say that, we're more than likely not just in a recession. Janet Yellen and everybody today was talking about, the best market recovery. When they're saying that's the best market recovery and banks are failing, watch what's happening. Watch what they do, not what they say. And right now, I don't think that this is over, right? And I think maybe the recession's over and we see a relief rally like I'm expecting. And then we enter a depression, right? 1929 style. And then this is what happens as we look for monthly oversold at some point into the spring of 2024. But again, we don't know for sure. It's just up, down, sideways. That's all we're preparing for. And we're watching for all of these confluences to potentially be met. And if things change, we'll change our thesis. But at the moment, this is the most likely scenario. And again, not to be a doomsdayer. And again, that's why I created this video, how to prepare for one of the biggest market crashes in history. And again, my strategy isn't going to be the same as yours. It's just what I'm doing. And hopefully that can help you. And obviously, everybody's at different points in their life, different points of their career investing. So just keep in mind that, you have to, formulate your own plan. But hopefully that can help you get the ball rolling on that. Tesla, daily candle closing at the low today. And one thing I wanted to mention as well, the heads up that we could potentially expect daily consolidation as well was gold and silver. So gold started daily consolidation the previous day, so on Tuesday, and so did silver. So that was a clue that SPY could start daily consolidation as well today. And same with Bitcoin, and that's exactly what we got. We knew it was due. But yeah, Tesla closing at the low, just like SPY, but still in a daily uptrend. Key support on Tesla is going to be 176.35. As long as we hold that, we're in a daily uptrend and no major red flags whatsoever. VEGA, Riot, and Hive leading the decline today. Not surprising after some massive moves. Going to take this coat off, actually. It's pretty warm in here. Beautiful day here in Edmonton today. I'd say it's almost 10 degrees outside. Somewhere around there. It was like 7 degrees the last time I checked. But great, the days are getting longer and warmer. GME, Bombardier, and IMV led the bull list today. GME, look at that. Was earnings? Yep, so earnings was yesterday, and then had a huge beat in terms of EPS, and then a slight beat in terms of revenue. Stock went soaring from the low of yesterday to the high of the day today, up 57%. So it kind of reminds me of XRP, what XRP does in a day, 32%. But long term, XRP is going to create way more millionaires and billionaires, in my opinion. In terms of Canadian MJ, HMMJ ETF, we have a daily inside bar. So we're just tightening up. We have a tightening range forming there. But we did have a pretty down day. Oxley, right at its 1.5 cent support. Not looking good. Monthly oversold. Decent entry, though, here with, just lots of risk, but lots of reward. So I wouldn't invest much into this one. But I am bullish on Oxley. I don't think it's going to go away. But if you invested now, even $1,000, and we go back to all-time highs, you would turn $1,000 into around 200,000. So and the most you can lose is $1,000, right? Kiss it goodbye, put it in. If you're right, 200 grand in your pocket. If we go back to all-time highs. So Oxley, High Tide, and Fire and Flower leading the decline today, followed by Hexo, PCLO, DB, and WIB on the bull list today. Not a lot, but still a few bulls out there. High Tide dropping to a monthly lower low. Monthly downtrend continues, and we confirmed the monthly bear flag. So anything under 311 on that monthly lower high was just we were anticipating a monthly lower high and a potential bear flag because we were in a monthly downtrend. A bear flag is just a continuation pattern in whatever direction. So if it's a bear flag, it's a bearish continuation pattern. If you're in a bull trend and you're in an uptrend and you have a bull flag, that's a bullish continuation pattern. So once we lost 130, we confirmed the monthly bear flag. We had the weekly bear flag here after kissing that descending sloping resistance here, that red dotted line. We kissed it and then back. Weekly bear flag confirmed. The target was $1, and sure enough, here we hit 103. So we're hitting that weekly bear flag. Now we're confirming a monthly bear flag,
and the measured move from the high to the low, move that out, right? So you just take that high to the low, and then you move it out to the 0.32 fib. It's saying that we could be targeting 71 cents on high tide, and high tide could soon be in the camp of having to do a reverse split. And this is how quickly things can change, and why people need to be humbled. So many people talking about, I'm not going to name any companies or any MJ names, but lots of names in the MJ space who had to do reverse splits. And guess what? High tide numbers were shining. They continued to see their revenue increase. They continued to beat on EPS. They had great numbers. But guess what's happening? It's hitting almost all-time lows and new 52-week lows. It's confirming a monthly downtrend, and we could very well soon drop under $1 and be at risk of delisting from the NASDAQ and having to do a reverse split. So even companies that are profitable, unprofitable, LPs, MSOs, ETFs, they're all struggling. Why? What's the pattern? MJ is in a bear market, right? And we need things to change. We need the regulations in Canada. It said that excise taxes are eating up around 30% of companies' revenue. It said that, there's tons of reasons, but the marketing, right? We can't market, it can't sell in convenience stores, all these things like beverages, all these things are hindering the industry. And we know that the federal government here in Canada and Justin Trudeau said it's time for the government to catch up to the MJ industry. So we'll see, put their money where their mouth is, and let's see if they see what they do, not what they say. And then obviously regulations in the US. Also, Germany had some news today that Germany is going to be releasing their plan for the rollout here pretty soon. So high tide could very well be in the territory of having to do a reverse split. But again, it's not high tide's fault. It's not other companies' fault. It's the MJ industry being hindered by the powers that be, right? And the regulators. So let this be a lesson to everybody out there. The next time not calling anybody out or saying anybody specifically, but the next time you tease at a company for having to do a reverse split and make fun, well, guess what? Poster child here, high tide isn't too far away from having to worry about the same thing. So let that be a lesson to all the bashers and trollers out there. We reap what we sow, and you have to realize that until regulations change, until the adoption, until we hit critical mass and mass adoption, MJ is going to follow each other. It doesn't matter if it's unprofitable, profitable, LPs, MSOs, retailers, ETF, it's all the same, right? Just like crypto follows each other, just like big tech used to follow each other in the early days, right? In the .com days. In terms of US MJ, daily inside bar as well on MSOS, so tightening ranges there as well. KHRN, Halo, and CXXI lead in the decline. And on the bull list, we have MedMen, Bev, and Acreage. All right, jumping into the chat here. Since I'm the only one commenting on here, I'll save the ticker requests for when you're done. Okay, sounds good. I don't believe anything these people say. Yeah, I definitely don't either. I don't trust anybody in any government, really. I don't trust them as far as I could throw them. So it's pretty bad, the state that our political system has come to. Just not even just in Canada, but the U.S. is, I'm from Canada, so I have no real, bias, but it's just I have zero confidence in any of these leaders, right? It's not really a democracy. It's just political theater. And the more you learn about the financial markets, the more you learn that there's a select few companies and countries that run the world. And they're all working in unison for sure. 81 Fahrenheit here. Nice. Yeah, I can imagine it's pretty toasty. I'm actually potentially planning another trip to Mexico with the girlfriend for her birthday, so might be going there next month. We'll see. Hey, Renee. Hi, Rod. Can't wait for tomorrow's interview. Yep, I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. Should be fun. Already sent my questions to them. They didn't have any issues. Sent them around 6 a.m. this morning, Eastern time. And haven't heard back, and it's now 7:30. So if I haven't heard back from them yet, I wouldn't assume I'm going to hear from them until we do the interview tomorrow morning. And they didn't have any issues with the questions. Going to be asking some tough questions. And I had a lot of questions. I had about 120 questions for myself and the rest of the community. And again, thank you everybody who contributed to that. But 100, wow, the amount of engagement from retail is staggering. But just in 15 hours, we're going to be able to find out a lot about the company and the health of the company going forward. Like I said, definitely a lot more questions than answers at the moment, but great that they didn't have any pushback on any of the questions so far. Maybe they'll tell me in the morning, I don't know. if they had any issues with any of the questions, but I did send them the questions, got it down from like 120 to around 40 questions. But we know that they owe it to us as retail investors. It's been a while since they kind of came out and spoke to us. They did a conference call, which was great to see on their last financials, but when they did their earnings call. But as we know, I'm a retail investor just like each and every one of you, and I'm in the same boat. I think that they owe it to us to come on for at least an hour, maybe even a little bit longer. If it has to go if that's what it has to do, then I think that's how it has to be, because we have a lot of questions. Like I said, 120 would have loved to ask everybody's question, but unfortunately that's not realistic. 120, we might be there for 4 or 5 hours at that point. So trying to get it down to 40 questions was a really, really big task, and I still have a lot of prepping to do this evening. So going to do my best to bring as much value to each and every one of you out there, and I'll be doing a lot more interviews with other companies as well. I'm doing another one soon with Nick, CFO of Canara Biotech. Since they've done their reverse split, going to get some updates from them. And like I said, going to be reaching out to a few other companies in the MJ space, MSOs, LPs, trying to get more interviews as well. Going to definitely try to incorporate more of that into the channel. That's 27 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's hot. Hot. They're talking about safe banking again. I'm sick of them talking and not doing anything about it. Yeah, it's the same thing with crypto, right? Like Tom Emmer and a few other congressmen. Oh, a new day's coming with regards to the SEC and all that, mumbo jumbo. And new day's coming and they don't do anything. They just tweet. They just lament on Twitter. How about you actually do something? Take out, your big boy, big girl pants and do something. Don't just, complain. You're in Congress. You oversee the SEC and these regulators, right? It's the same thing with the MJ space, right? Like, do something. The only reason why they're not doing it because it doesn't fit their agenda at the moment, right? When they're ready, don't you worry. The longer the base, the higher in space, and get your spacesuit on, because one of these days it's going to happen. Could you please go over a hexo chart of where we stand now? Sure, no problem. So we did lose the weekly uptrend, but we're still holding relatively well. It's this darn EMA 12 resistance here, this EMA 12 exponential moving average. Ever since we came from the highs of February 2021, we lost it, confirmed a weekly and monthly downtrend, and from there we've yet to close above it and confirm a weekly uptrend and close above it. We did it once here, but ended up being a brutal fake out and bull trap. And then again, upper wick, rejected. So if we can see a weekly candle close, that's going to be the line in the sand moment. If you see at any point a weekly uptrend confirm and a weekly candle close, I'd like to see 2 candles and at best 3 candles above this line, because generally you don't just want one like here, you want 2 or 3, right? You want confirmation. And in order to be confident, we need to see, in my opinion, at least 2. To be ultra confident, we want to see 3, and we want to see a weekly uptrend confirm as well. And the best case scenario would be to confirm a monthly uptrend here, because look at this, we're starting monthly consolidation now, so we're looking for this higher low. We got quite a bit of room from the low here to the all-time low. We could still drop another 23-ish% and still be scouting a monthly higher low. So the odds here are quite high that we could potentially form this monthly higher low and higher high. And if we get tailwinds from the broader market, if we get SPY breaking, confirming its monthly higher low and higher high, that's going to be tailwinds, and that's going to look good. But other names, in the sector aren't so lucky. So CGC dropping to a monthly lower low, we're months away before confirming a monthly uptrend here, because we would need to start the bounce, form a higher low, followed by a higher high, right? So we would need to look something like this, and that's going to take at least a few candles to get that. So CGC is very, very far away from doing it. Tilray dropped to a monthly lower low and a new all-time low. So again, same thing in the same camp as CGC. We're months away before seeing, at the best case, we're months away from seeing a monthly uptrend. But Hexo could do it in the next 1 to 2 candles. So that's good to see. Oops. But yeah, in terms of the Hexo chart, we lost the weekly uptrend. That indicates monthly consolidation. So again, what do we know about losing uptrends or confirming downtrends? If we're in an uptrend on the daily time frame and we lose it, that means zoom out to the weekly and watch for weekly consolidation. Consolidation just means we're losing the low of the previous week or the whatever candle that is on whatever time frame. If you lose the weekly uptrend, zoom out to the monthly and watch for the monthly low of the previous candle to be lost and monthly consolidation, right? Same thing with the hourly. If the hourly uptrend is lost, zoom out to the daily and watch for daily consolidation and losing the low of the previous day, right? And generally, if we confirm downtrends, losing an uptrend doesn't always indicate consolidation on the higher level time frame, but usually confirming a downtrend does. So here we lost the weekly uptrend, but we didn't confirm a weekly downtrend. In order to confirm a weekly downtrend, we would now need a lower high and lower low. So you'd need that lower high and lower low. So right now the trend is flat. We're no longer in a weekly uptrend or a downtrend. We're flat and we're just waiting for direction. And we're waiting to see when that monthly high or low is going to be set. And we'll be confident the monthly high or low is set once we get back into a weekly uptrend. So if we get back into a weekly uptrend with a high, higher low, and higher high, then we can be confident that the monthly higher low is in and that we're heading back up towards resistances and somewhere around that 185 area. But yeah, in terms of Hexo on the weekly time frame, we're not looking too hot. We're still below the 10-week moving average. We had a bear cross of the stochastic, and the MACD isn't too far away from seeing a bear cross. And then in terms of the weekly, there's no real nearby resistance here until 268. After that, runway all the way up to 19, the 50 and the 100 weekly moving average. But in terms of the daily time frame, we could see a golden cross potentially forming here over the next few months, but it's going to be a while. It's going to be at least a couple, 2 or 3 months at bare minimum before we see a potential golden cross. But lots of names starting to see potential golden crosses. C-Web's one of them. We already had a golden cross, but then another death cross, and then dropped to another low, monthly lower low. So we just need to see this across the space, right? Tilray getting close, CGC getting close, but we want to see it in the ETFs too, like HMMJ, MSOS. MSOS long ways away, HMMJ a lot closer than MSOS. So prospect of Canadian MJ looking a little bit better. MSOS and US MJ a little bit more bleak. But yeah, we got Hexo's not doing too bad here. Could be worse. Could be Tilray and CGC dropping to monthly lower lows. Granted, Hexo is down 99% from February 2021 highs, when CGC and Tilray are only down about 97%. But what do you think? 97, probably not that much better than 99, right? if your account's down 99% or 97%, I don't think you're two-phased either way. They both are pretty crummy, right? And then even the companies in the US like GTII, right? The companies that are profitable in the US, GTII, definitely holding up better than most MJ, but look where it's at. From its highs of February 2021, it's now down over 80%. So what's its excuse, right? Where's all the bashers and the haters? What's the excuse for GTII being down, right? I can tell you, it's simple. Bear market in the MJ market, right? We're lacking regulatory clarity. We're lacking, support, adoption, and innovation, and we just can't thrive in this current environment. Doesn't matter if you're profitable, unprofitable, LP, MSO, American company, producer, Canadian producer, retailer, they're all the same. So hopefully that helps. Jim Losi? I think US is stupid for letting cartel having MJ revenue instead of them. Yeah, I mean, again, there's usually a method to their madness, and if they don't want it to run yet, there's probably a reason. They're probably still positioning themselves, right? As we know, they get lobbied by the these big companies, pharmaceutical companies. They're the biggest threat, right? They have the MJ's the biggest threat to those companies, and they're the ones that lobby the U.S. government. So the U.S. government's getting money from them, right? And the longer that they lobby them, the more money that these political parties get, right? So it's a win-win for both of them, because now the pharmaceutical companies can continue to buy up rock bottom prices. They can continue to get their own operations in order so that they can benefit. And then once they're all ready, then they send it to the moon, right? So like I said, get your spacesuit on, put it in your closet, whatever you got to do, and get ready. Because like I said, whenever the train leaves the station in MJ land, it's not going to be a train. It's going to be a spaceship, right? It's going to be Andromeda. We're going to be gone, gone like the wind, speed of light. I didn't ask any questions. I bet all my questions are already asked. Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of overlap. There was a couple questions I didn't really want to ask, but I put them in there anyway. Like with regards to regulation, like it's kind of beyond their control, but tons of people were asking about it. So I tried to do a mix of, what a lot of the community wanted versus, some really insightful questions, right? So even though it might be broad and they might not have a great answer, it is something that the community was very concerned about. And yeah, well, like I said, I'm just a voice for the people, right? I'm just like you. I'm just an everyday guy and retail investor, just a regular Joe Blow, and I want to help you guys out as much as possible, because you're just like me. You're a fellow retail investor, and I have a lot of the same feelings that you guys have. And I also want to make sure that everybody's getting their questions answered, and just like I said, just looking out for the little guy, right, and the little girl, because Lord knows we can use it, because these regulators, these politicians, they're not looking out for us. These market makers, they want us to they want to take us up by our legs, by our feet, and shake us, right, for all we're worth, so that they can move forward and get even more powerful and more money in their pockets, right? Try to address the high COGS tomorrow. Yeah, I think I did have a question about that. COGS were higher than net revenue in Q2 2023. Yep. And we should still see cost of goods sold go down and SG&A, I think, over the next couple of quarters, because they even said that they're still seeing improvements in those overall with the result of the facility closures and staffing layoff. Like they cut like 50% of their staff, right? So we should still see that continue. And then, yeah, we'll see if we can get some more color on that. Where you think all MJ would stand in the brutal down market that we might face end of this year or next year? Sorry, I always have lots of questions. Yeah, no worries. That's a great question. So MJ, I do think that it could outperform the broader market, but it's probably not going to be spared, right, if we see a lot of down. Like if SPY has a 1929 Great Depression style and it loses 10%, 13% in a day for multiple days, and then overall loses 50% of its value from the peak, well, obviously that's going to hurt MJ in the short term. But what I would think is that MJ may recover a lot more quickly. Like I don't think it's going to be spared. So that's why that's why I said how I'm preparing for one of the biggest market crashes in history. I'm hedging those long positions, my MJ longs, my crypto altcoins that I have. Those long positions, I'm hedging with an S&P 500 short position. And when I make money on that short position from SPY going down, I'll use those profits to buy more beaten down MJ. In theory, it should bring MJ down more. But it's also a hedge for my long exposure, my investments, right? And then I'm also keeping a 6-figure cash position, right? To be able to buy the dip and just dollar cost average. And, I've got all my mutual funds in the money market. I've got, real estate, very, very low valued real estate here in the condo market, cheap real estate, condos going. I just saw a condo in my building sell for $60,000, and the thing, I almost bought it, and I knew it was going to sell quick, and before I could even get a viewing, it was gone, it was sold. Some guy came off the street, paid cash. So, even if the market tumbled 50% in the real estate market, who cares if you buy a condo for 60 and it's now worth 30,000? It's probably going to go back up, right? At that point, you're paying less for a condo than a new car. So not even a Tesla, you're talking like a, base model. So yeah, it's a no-brainer. And like I said, and then I'm also focusing on Airbnb. I've got another condo. The one I'm living in, I paid only about 70 grand for it. And then the one that my Airbnb, I paid around 120,000 for it. And I'm bringing in 3 to 4 times as much money per month than it cost me to operate that unit. So it cost me around $1,200-1,300 a month to operate my Airbnb and all expenses in. And I'm bringing in anywhere from 2, 3, 4, maybe even plus that into the summer here a month, right? So that ROI, that income, that appreciation, hopefully over the next 3 to 5 years in the condo market goes up, and you're getting cash flow from the income from the Airbnb or rental income, right? Not really great rental income here, and rent's pretty low. You'd probably just break even at that point, so you'd be literally just hoping on the appreciation of the asset. But I want to do what I did in PEI. I want to double dip. I want to see the price of the home go up. Like I said, one of my houses almost doubled, one over doubled, one almost doubled, and I was bringing in double what it cost me per month for expenses, right? So my expenses were around 1,000, a little over 1,000, and I was bringing in around $2,000 a month. So not only was I making 100% cash flow, the appreciation of the home went up 100% as well, over 100% on one of my assets, right? So like I said, that's what I'm after, but also protecting against a market downturn. So again, if you're wondering how MJ is going to fare up, I would encourage you to watch that video as well if you haven't already. But yeah, don't expect MJ to be spared. I do think that MJ would see a massive drop, but it would probably recover quickly. And I think that it could outperform the broader market because, as we know, everything in this everything bubble at 2022 just skyrocketed except for MJ. MJ didn't really, that brief period there up to February 2021, but after that, brutal bear market. So I think that it could outperform in the long term versus the broader market in the S&P 500. But yeah, and it all depends how much we run too. Like if we get, Germany rolls out their legalization here in the coming weeks, their plan, and then it goes live into 2024. It all depends how much we run into, and if like I said, if the S&P 500 is due for another big bounce, in my opinion, which could happen in this monthly inverse head and shoulders, if we go up and test all-time highs, that's going to put MJ probably in a good position, and then we could come down, really not capitulate, but really see a pretty steep decline, and then a monthly high or low. That could happen as well, or it could end up giving the whole thing back. But again, we don't know. There's no way of knowing for sure. All we can be prepared for is up, down, or sideways, right? So have a long-term bag, have some cash on the side, have a hedge position, whether it be through options and puts or just short shares of the S&P 500. Not telling you what to do. This isn't financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold or what to do with your money, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And I'm prepared for the scenario of us going up from here. I'm prepared for the scenario of us going down. And obviously, there's not really much to be prepared for if we're going sideways. Well, I guess trying not to get bored and keeping yourself occupied, right? So hopefully that answers your question, my friend. Thank you for the Hexo update. I appreciate it. You're welcome. Last one, OGI, if you don't mind, please. Sure, let's take a look. Hopefully I didn't skip anyone. Nope, don't think I did. Okay, yeah, so OGI taking it on the chin lately as well. And OGI, another name just like High Tide, right? All the bashers out there saying that, all these other companies, oh, look how garbage they are. They're doing reverse splits. Well, High Tide, the poster child in the space, is now at risk of losing $1 and potentially having to fight with that compliance with the NASDAQ, the minimum bid price rule, and potentially do a reverse split. And look at OGI now, right? Same camp. We're now under $1. How long has it been under $1 now? Been a while. So there's $1 there. So we got above it, but we didn't stay above it. So there was only 3 days. Out of 104 days, there's only been 3 days where we closed above, or that we got above $1. We didn't even close above it. So it's now been 103 days that we've been below $1 on OGI. So this doesn't look good. This could be the next one on the list to, or did OGI already get it? OGI already might have got it actually. Organogram NASDAQ listing warning. Yeah, they already got it. Yeah, I thought so. I was going to say there's no way they didn't. Yeah, it was back on January 26th. There's so much stuff going on in the markets. Sometimes it's hard to... That's why it's great to have like Power Group as well, where we have this community of like-minded individuals as well, right? Where we can come in here, you can get crypto news, Forex news. This is all... I have a bot in the background where it automatically pulls all of this from different news sources. And yeah, it's pretty incredible the amount of information out there, and no wonder it's easy to get overwhelmed. But that's why we have different market channels like for MJ, commodities, crypto, electric vehicle, and then stocks. Also have our POW Algo alert, which gives buy and sell signals directly in here in Slack if you're a Slack member and a community member. If not, you can just sign up for the email service. And then, like I said, we have a community page, all these different news channels, MJ News, Commodity News, Crypto News, Forex, General, Real Estate. But yeah, we've got almost 50 people in there. And like I said, it's just easier to stay on top of all this stuff because, man, there's a lot. But yeah, Organogram already got its warning. And next on the list is probably High Tide. But yeah, OGI, still no daily consolidation, so holding up relatively well. Got a bit of an inverse head and shoulders forming here on the daily time frame as well. So if we do get our right shoulder and confirm this inverse head and shoulders, we could be looking to move up to around 75 cents. But this was a decent trade here off 50 cents support. So you could have entered with a stop below 50 cents here. And from the low there, that would have been about over 11% so far. So fairly good swing trade. Another swing trade that I put out in the Power Group newsletter, the biweekly newsletter, is MSOS playing off $5 support. So you can start to scale in. We lost $6. So I said, once we lose $6, start to scale in maybe 3 orders, just under 6, 550, closer to 5, and then set your stop just below $5. Could be a nice swing trade. Could be a nice long-term entry as well, but it could be a nice swing here, looking for a bottom off around $5. And if we do see a bottom somewhere around $5 with your stop just tight below $5, if we go from $5 up to our resistance, that's almost 200% of upside. So essentially, let's say you get an average of around 550, and then you set your stop at around 474, you can risk 15% to make about 200%, right? So that's a great risk to reward ratio. And I think OGI could be a massive bounce here as well, playing off that 50-cent support stop just below. If we go up to monthly resistance, that's over 110%, around 115% of upside. But dropping to a monthly lower low, we had 2 monthly inside bars that broke bearish, and continuation of the downtrend. Yeah, and we have next support is at 45 cents and then 50 psychological. So watch those as a potential bottom, but not looking good whatsoever. Weekly downtrend. We are getting close to weekly oversold, not close to monthly oversold yet. Daily time frame, like I said, inverse head and shoulders potentially forming, but it is also a daily bear flag. So anything under 66 cents there is a daily bear flag, and look where we're topping out right at that. So again, if we see more downside tomorrow in the S&P 500, that's going to be more confluence to the fact that this could see more headwinds and downside pressure. And we'd be looking at around, look at that, 50 cents is the daily bear flag target. So exactly what I was predicting. But we do have this inverse head and shoulders to be watching for as well. So it's all about 59, lose 59, then 50. And then after that, like I said, next monthly support is at 45 cents, was it? Yeah. In terms of the weekly time frame, yeah, we're very bearish on the macros here. The stochastic MACD still well below the 10-week moving average. OGI topped out at the 50 weekly. So a lot of our names as well as topping out at their 50 weekly moving average. So if we can see a couple candle closes above that, we haven't gotten above it since February 2021 highs, right? So that's going to be a line in the sand. And that's right at $1 psychological, right? That coveted $1 that it needs to get back above to regain compliance. But OGI, in terms of the daily time frame, we were getting close to a golden cross happening with the 50-day below the 200-day. But here we are dropping to a monthly lower low. New 52-week low, but just like Hexo, we could see a potential golden cross over the next few months, but it's going to take at least a few months, in my opinion. Got a lot of work to do. So hopefully that helps. Enjoy the moment tomorrow and don't stress too much. You can only do your best. Yep, no, I'm not worried. I've done some other interviews. If you go to my playlists on my YouTube channel and then under interviews, you can see here that I've done a few. Done Alexandre Voyer, the owner of Analyse MJ, and try not to say that word too much on the channel because it doesn't like that. And then I did a couple of interviews with Nicholas Sosiak, the CFO, Chief Financial Officer of Canara, and did a recent update with him as well on Canara. I did another one with Alexandre Voyer. I did one with my friend as well. I was on his podcast. And I also did one with Morgan Fox, the political director at Normal. And that was a lot of fun. Gave some insight into U.S. legalization, that type of thing. So definitely not worried, not going to stress. I'm kind of past that. I used to have butterflies in my stomach and stuff like that when I'd come on and do these lives and stuff, but it's just second nature now. Really doesn't bother me at all. But to be honest, I feel like I've been more a part of Hexo than these two because I've been covering Hexo since August of 2020. They haven't even been here half as long as me. So if anything, maybe they'll be a little nervous to speak to Power Group. But thanks for the words of encouragement. I appreciate it. And like I said, I'll do my best to give you guys and gals as much value as possible as well, right? I did have some requests as well to get it translated into French. I know, right, we're a bilingual country. French and English, and obviously with Quebec being the major focus for and where Hexo was founded, I'm going to try and do my best for that. I don't speak French that well. I am French immersion, so I took it in school. I actually learned how to read French before I could read English, but I'm not that great at writing or speaking it, and it's been a while. Yeah, so it's been a while. I can't really speak it. Je peux pas parler vraiment fort. Je comprends avec écriture, mais je peux pas parler vraiment bien. So I'll do my best, right? C'est pas comme, yeah, it's not my biggest strong suit speaking it. So I personally wouldn't be able to translate it myself, but maybe if anybody's listening to this who is francophone, if you can reach out to me, you can just reach out to me at info@pursuitofwealthgroup.com, or you can just go to powgroup.ca, and let me just share my screen here. Just go to powgroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com, and then click on contact here at the top, or just scroll down and you can fill out this and send it to me, or you can just email me at info@pursuitofwealthgroup.com, and that will suffice as well. But yeah, let me know if anybody would be open to working with me in getting that translated into French. And it's probably going to be a long interview as well, so I'm not sure how that would happen. You can probably use YouTube though. YouTube has a transcript option, right? So if you go here, say to this video, so you can do this here. You should be able to just change that into French, I would think. Yeah, so you got auto translate. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah. So for people who are wondering about that, maybe I'll make a note. Yeah, I'm going to make a note about that now. Just give me 1 sec. Okay. Just 1 sec here. Doing some interview prep on the fly. So YouTube subtitles. Yeah, so you should be able to do that and then get that ready. So like I said, yeah, just go in here, go into subtitles. That'll turn it on, and then go into settings, subtitles, and then hit auto translate, and then just go down and click French. Obviously, it might not be the best translation, but so, yeah, there you go. So if you, I'm not sure if that works on the fly during the live stream. Maybe I can just bring up my live stream here that I'm doing right now. So doing some testing on the fly, I love it. Yeah, so here I am. And yeah. So it's a little bit of a lag here. Yeah, no, you can't. So it's unavailable for live streams. So yeah, learn something new every day. So not available for live streams, but it will be available after the fact. So I guess that might work. But yeah, in terms of translating it on the fly, I won't be able to do that for the live interview. Hopefully everybody can understand that. But yeah, after the fact, you'll be able to use those captions and get the French version of it with those subtitles as best as it can based on Google Translate. But other than that, yeah, I'm not sure what else we could do. But again, if you have any ideas for that, just go to powgroup.ca, fill out the contact us form, or email me at info@pursuitofwealthgroup.com. But thank you very much. I appreciate, like I said, the words of encouragement, and looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Been a long time coming. OGI, I've already asked investors to agree to a 4-to-1 reverse split in their last year. Okay, cool. Yeah, I wasn't following it exactly. And like I said, I've been pretty busy the last few weeks and also been traveling a lot too. So makes sense. But yeah, people are starting to realize, even with OGI posting positive adjusted EBITDA, people are finally starting to realize, this isn't a 1 or 2, 3, 4 companies problem. This is an MJ problem. And guess what? When the US names uplist to the NYSE and the NASDAQ, they're going to have the same problem, right? maybe not to the same degree, because by then we'd have some reform in the US, and then by then Canadian names would be soaring as well, right? I'll join Powell Group eventually. It's only taken me a couple of years to make that decision. I should work for the government. Yeah, where's the turtle emoji? No, well, like I said, we'll be here whenever you're ready to come join us. It's a great group of people. Like I said, I learn a lot from the people in the group as well. I don't know everything. Obviously, more technical based, and I like to say that I think like a market maker, right? Just kind of put myself in their shoes, and studying financial markets for 15 years, you kind of learn a few things, but definitely more technical based. But yeah, we learn a lot. We got a lot of accountants in our group as well. So I'm by no means strong with accounting and the underlying, looking under the hood and things like that. I'm learning a lot though with regards to financials and things like that. And I'm actually looking at taking a course on that, and then potentially making my own course, because a lot of these people, just like I said, I find like I love teaching people, and I find like I have a passion for it, but I also think that I have a pretty good way of explaining things in a way that people can understand them. Because like I said, I've been taking courses. I took one course that was like 10 grand, and they always have such a complicated way of conveying the message and articulating things. And yeah, obviously, without having to get people to pay $10,000 for a course, coming on here and be able to teach it for free is a bonus too, right? Or for like $10 a month if you join POW Group, or $100 a year. But would love to have you. So like I said, whenever you're ready, we're here. How long were SNDL and Hexo under $1 on the NASDAQ before they received compliance warning? And then once warned, how long did they have to regain compliance? I feel like it was close to 1 year, all said and done. Yeah, it was something like that. I'd have to go back and check, but just in effort of time, Lichelle, yeah, you'd have to check. Like, it's 90 days, right? So NASDAQ listing requirements. So, yeah, so 90 consecutive days. This is different though. Must have a closing bid price of $1 or more for 10 consecutive business days. That's to regain compliance. And then it's 90 days under $1. And I believe that's trading days. So it would need 90 trading days, right? So not factoring in weekends and holidays, right? So you're looking at like 90 divided by 5, right? That's like 18 weeks. Or divided by months, that's like 4.5 months under $1. And then factoring in, some potential holidays, you're looking at around 4.25 months, right? Some quick math there. High tide. So I did go over high tide already at the beginning, but I can go over it real quick here again. So high tide is potentially at risk of losing $1, and then like I said, it would need to be under $1 for 90 days before it gets its NASDAQ listing minimum bid price rule warning, and potentially delisted. And if they get that warning, they could reverse split as well. Definitely in a better position though. Like OGI not looking good at all, and like we've been talking about, they've already proposed a 4-to-1 reverse split, but high tide is next on the list for a potential drop below $1, and then a potential delisting / reverse split coming. But again, it would have to trade below $1 for 90 days, and it hasn't lost $1 yet. So still a long time to go before we worry about any kind of delisting or reverse split requirements. But in terms of the monthly time frame, we did have a monthly bear flag confirm and a monthly downtrend continuation. So we had this lower high. Anything under 311 was a monthly lower high, potential for a monthly bear flag. And then we came down and we lost 130 support. That's when we confirmed the monthly bear flag. And we also had a weekly bear flag back here in March and April of last year that was targeting $1. And then it took many months for that to come to fruition. But look where we hit 103. Now we have a monthly bear flag targeting 71 cents. So, and we're confirming the monthly bear flag. So it's all about $1 psychological from here. If we lose $1, then we don't have any support down to 65 cents, which is the all-time low. And then we'd be sitting at around 70 cents this monthly bear flag. And look at CGC dropping to a new monthly lower low. and Tilray hitting a new all-time low as well, losing 243 support, hit 228. So yeah, the writing's on the wall, and high tide could be next for a potential delisting and reverse split, but also testing its all-time lows and maybe even setting a new all-time low. But the good thing is the monthly bear flag's only targeting around 70 cents, whereas all-time low is 65 cents. So it's not looking good. Definitely some work to do. Doesn't matter if the company's profitable, unprofitable, American producer, Canadian producer, retailer, ETF, they're all struggling. And they're all down 80 to 90% plus from February 2021 highs. It's because it's a sector problem. It's an MJ problem. People are starting to finally learn. It's not just one or two companies in the space. It's the whole industry. So we're still well below the 10-week moving average. We are seeing a bull cross of the stochastic, and the MACD is still bearish, so we got some work to do there. But yeah, it's not looking too hot at the moment in terms of the weekly moving averages. We have nothing nearby until the 50 weekly, and then some runway there to the 200 and the 100 weekly. But yeah, all about $1. If not, we're looking at 70 cents as the next potential bottom. And then after that, 65 cents, the all-time low. But just like most of our MJ names, could be a couple months yet before we see a golden cross with the 50 come up below the 200-day moving average. And when they cross, that's a golden cross. Could be a couple months before that happens. And then even after, look what had happened here. Price was at around, when that cross, price was at around $2, went all the way up to $6. And then but it took many months for that to happen, right? So it only really took actually about a month. So it can happen in a month, it can happen in 2 or 3 months that we finally see that upside. But then just like the downside, when we had the death cross, it can take many months for the true bottom to come in, right? So it doesn't, just because we have the death cross happen doesn't mean that we're going to the bottom tomorrow, or just because we have a golden cross happen doesn't mean we're going to the moon tomorrow. It could take months, right? And it could take months before we even see the cross occur, and then even a couple months from there before we hit our peak, right? So hopefully that helps. I'm going to start wrapping it up though. Right on, Rod. You rock. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Skibby. Going to be buying more Hexo because why not? Yeah, I've got my bags are packed. I'll only buy Hexo if we drop below 90 cents and hit a new all-time low, and I'll just continue to nibble. But yeah, I'm focusing on other names at the moment. I'm focusing on adding some more Tilray, focusing on some US MJ as well. Also want to buy some more Canara. I am Canadian living in the US. Awesome. I'd love to have dual citizenship myself. Wow, your French is really good. Thank you. I would beg to differ, but you seem like, I think you were born and raised in Quebec. So if you think so, then I'll take it. Thanks for the compliment. I have Quebecois relatives. Yep. Very nice. I live in Quebec. Don't need the translation. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, not everybody's that fortunate. I had a couple people reach out, say their English isn't very good, so they were wondering if I could translate it. But yeah, I'll just tell them after the fact to go use that subtitle. So that's something I learned today, is that it doesn't work on live stream. So CC option, yeah, exactly. Once the interview is done, you can add French subtitles. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So we went over that. Tomorrow I'll ask Bowman, what is the present impact of Forex production of the pre-rolls and how sales of this skew? Also follow up with the white label production and growth potential. Yep, I've already got those questions down. That was one I had as well. And also about the new filter technology. I actually seen on the Redican Instagram profile today, they were showing the Redican machine pumping out like thousands of Redis, and they were all with a new filter on them. So, because they have this new inhalation technology and a new filter. And I did bring it up to Hexo like a year ago that when you're in cold temperatures, the Redis don't burn well. And I think that might have actually sparked that need for that new filter and inhalation technology. So again, if we don't speak up, they don't know, right? And a lot of these people running Hexo, they might not even partake in smoking, right? They might not even consume it. So they need to get feedback from, and it's a new industry, right? We're still in the first inning. There's so many things happening that still have to happen. You cannot use a live stream, but you can do it in French after. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for all you do, man. Appreciate your efforts. Good luck tomorrow. I'll be listening at work. Awesome. Well, have a good day at work. Appreciate your support as well. It goes both ways. 7.6 million inventory write-down in Q2 2023 versus 4.9 million in Q1 2023. Ask them if they expect this trend to continue. 55% increase quarter over quarter. Yeah, well, I've already submitted the questions, so unfortunately, I'm pretty much, I can't recall if that was in there or not. Write downs. I might have had a write down question in there. I'll keep you posted. I'll review that though, just to make sure if I can maybe change the verbiage a little bit. But yeah, I think I got it in there. But like I said, it was hard. I had like 120 questions. I'd love to ask them another 100 more questions, but got it down to about 40. And yeah. The thing too is when you try to get guidance and future numbers out of them, generally companies don't want to do that, especially companies in the MJ space, especially ones that are struggling too, right? So it's always kind of like pulling teeth sometimes, and maybe just not that beneficial. So, but yeah, I'll review that and I'll do my best to incorporate that. I have a sneaking suspicion that Hexo will announce some new positive news around tomorrow's interview with you. That would be awesome. I would feel, what's the word I'm looking for? I would feel very humbled, I guess. But we shall see. All right, gonna end it there. Thanks everybody for joining the live stream. Still got over a dozen people here, and we just hit over an hour. So thanks to everybody who participated. Thanks for all your comments, and looking forward to tomorrow's interview. Again, as a reminder, if you haven't done so already, you can hit the notify me, the bell. That'll notify you whenever I go live or post a new video, and then you'll be notified tomorrow on this interview. But here we are, just under 14 hours now. Really looking forward to it. So smash like on your way out if you think I earned it today. I would appreciate it. And honored, yeah, honored's the word, exactly. Thank you. Honored and humble. But yeah, be very honored. So we'll see. Not holding my breath. Not expecting it either. If it happens, that's nice as well, but not necessary. It's going to be fun either way. All right. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rob with Power Group. If you could smash the like on your way out. Again, I always appreciate it. And we'll see you again on the next video. And we'll see you tomorrow for the interview with Hexo. Looking forward to it. Take care. Have a great night, everyone.